Yeah, thanks guys, and great to be here on Share Cafe. So look, Impact Minerals, we are a grassroots explorer. We're looking for the big win, trying to find perhaps something like the next Julimar that Chalice Mining has discovered in the last 18 months, 2 years, and that's been a 100 bagger almost from there. And that's really what we set about to do with Impact. And we've got 4 main projects, 2 in the eastern states, Broken Hill and Commonwealth, and 2 in WA. And we'll just give you a brief overview mainly of the Broken Hill, followed by the WA projects, which is where we're headed. So next slide, thanks. So one of the things that we have done over the years is that we've accumulated very large ground holdings in very prospective parts of Australia. And so in Broken Hill, and then also in the Commonwealth project, which is the Lachlan Fold Belt, these are 2 very well-known areas, very well mineralised, and we're amongst the largest ground holders in both of those areas. And the philosophy is fairly simple, that if you've got the hard work's already been done, you're already in a very prospective area, and you just need time and money to be able to get to a discovery. And so at Broken Hill, we've got an emerging nickel copper PGE discovery that we drilled in 2020. We've been a little bit set back this year because of COVID there, but we'll certainly be following up there in 2022. We've got a significant drill program hopefully lined up for Q4, which we've just ended today, so between now and Christmas, on our WA project at Dunia. And we've got some really exciting news starting to emerge from our Arkin project, again here in WA, which is in the same province as the Julimar discovery of Chalice Mining. And for our other projects, because we do have such a large ground holding, we are in the process of rationalising our holdings. We've done a couple of small deals which we've announced, and we're in discussions with a number of parties on some of that, some of the large ground holdings that we've got in the eastern states. So next, a little bit about Impact. So we've been listed since 2006. We have virtually exactly 2 billion shares on issue, and current market cap, as I said, around about sort of 30 million at a share price of 1.5 cents. We're sitting on a good amount of cash, probably 3 million at the moment, and that should be good enough to get us to the end of the Dunia drill program. And we've always had strong support for the last sort of 10 years from various German shareholders. We've got a family office, the Bonenbergs, out of Dusseldorf. They're one of Germany's wealthiest families, and they own about 10% of us. And then ABC is a subsidiary of Deutsche Balaton, which is a significant investor in a number of emerging developers and producers in the Australian market. So all in all, in a good position, and we'll see the share price. We have suffered in the last few months. We had a drill program on our Commonwealth project for copper gold. That didn't come in as what we were hoping, and so shares have drifted down, but I think we've seen a significant turnaround, as we can see in the last few weeks, as we've announced our Arkin soil results, both for nickel copper PGE and also lithium cesium tantalum. Next. So Broken Hill, this is where we are. This is what it looks like. This is one of the prospects we drilled last year. Next. And this is our ground holding shown here in red. There's a scale bar down there, 10 kilometres. And so we've accumulated a significant amount of ground there, but our main focus is on the right-hand side of that diagram, running from Morkai in the top right, Platinum Springs, down to Little Broken Hill Gabbro in the centre. And there's a 40-kilometre belt there that's been well known for many years to have very high-grade nickel copper PGEs, but not just palladium and platinum, which are the most well-known ones. It's also got exceptional grades of osmium, iridium, ruthenium, and rhodium, which are the other 4 as part of the 6 metals in the PGE group. And you can count on the fingers of one hand where you get those kind of grades around the world. And so there's something very unusual, special about this area. Next. And how unusual it is shown in this slide here. This is a picture of some of the drill core from a few years ago that we drilled, following up a high-grade intercept from probably 30 years previously. And we intersected this beautiful massive sulfide, and look at the grades here are exceptional. It's 0.6 metres of basically an ounce of platinum and palladium together. It's got 1.5 grams of gold. It's got 15% copper and nickel combined, 1.5 ounces of silver. It's got cobalt. And here we've got sort of 1 to 2 grams each of the rhodium, iridium, osmium, and ruthenium, all close to surface. And it's probably the richest ore in Australia if we can find more of it. And the map on the left there shows basically a 9-kilometre long trend, which is dripping in PGEs. And Platinum Springs, which is where this is from, is at the southern end. And it's the only place that's been drilled in over 40 years of exploration. And the question is then how to focus in that area. So next. So one of the issues of platinum group exploration is that they're very fine grained, and so you can't see them. In North America, they call them no-seeing zones, and you can't detect them directly with a handheld XRF, which a lot of people now use on a drill program. And so you normally have to send it to the lab, and it just causes long delays in your drill programs. And so there's an example here, very boring looking rock from one of the world's significant palladium mines in Lac des Iles, and it's running 18 grams, and you wouldn't have a clue unless you sent it to the lab. Next. So in 2020, though, we made a massive breakthrough for PGE exploration, I would say certainly in Australia and possibly globally, is that we did some significant machine learning work and discovered basically a ratio that we could measure with our handheld instrument as the drilling is occurring, which is directly related to the platinum, palladium and gold grade, 3PGE as we call it. And that's shown here in this slide. And these are from assays, chemical assays, and we've proven to ourselves that our handheld XRF will give the same result using a ratio of all of these different elements that we've worked out related to the grade. Next. Now that was an absolute breakthrough, because what that meant was that we could actually direct the drilling as the program was going, rather than having to wait for laboratory assays. And I won't go into detail here, but basically we moved the drill rig along this particular cross section, and the host unit is shown in purple. And we moved the drill rig backwards and forwards using our ratio to sort of try and ping the highest grade areas. And hole 30 in the middle there shows a meter at 3.3% nickel, 1% copper and 22 grams PGEs from our laboratory results. And that was found exclusively with our ratio. This is an unbelievable breakthrough for us, and it certainly changed our entire approach to the exploration at Broken Hill. And we were able to define, and shown in red there, the sort of channel-like structure, which is host to the mineralization. And it's this type of geometry that is the host to significant nickel and copper at places like Kambalda. And so our challenge now is to track that channel along trend, and that'll be the focus of our next drill program. And there's 9 kilometers along trend that have never been drilled before, and all carrying this high grade material. So we think there's a huge potential to find a number of those channels when we get drilling there again. Next. And the other area is Little Broken Hill Gabbro. We were the first people ever to drill here. It's a unit that's about 6.5, 7 kilometers long. And to summarize, every drill hole that we put into the basal part of this unit was carrying very high grade and very thick widths of modest grade PGE with some lower, thinner intercepts with higher grade. So there's 60 meters at sort of 0.3, 0.4 PGEs, and then a meter at 2.3 and 8 meters at 1.3. So this is trying to form one of those channels at the base of this unit, like we've seen at Platinum Springs. And we think that with a lot more drilling, we've got a real chance of finding a major ore body at the base of this Little Broken Hill Gabbro. But look, because of COVID, things have been closed down across New South Wales for the last few months, and so we haven't been able to get back there as we would hoped. But we're certainly looking to be there in the first and second quarters of next year. Next. So what we've been doing is that we basically pivoted back to WA, and the middle of last year, on the back of the Julimar discovery by Chalice, and that discovery led to basically a tenement rush up and down the Perth, north and south of Perth. But we were able to acquire quite a significant ground holding, 100% ourselves, out in the about 150 kilometres east of Perth. And the day that we announced that we'd got this project, Anglo American Corporation, one of the world's top 10 mining companies, staked all around us, an area of about 10,000 square kilometres. So huge outcome. So obviously we just picked them to the post, and they decided to act afterwards. And it's a pretty exciting area all through this southwest of WA. It's very poorly explored. And just press next, there'll be another little image will come up. Yeah. And so there's many magnetic anomalies all through our ground and probably throughout the southwest. Our bow target is shown there on the left. And for size comparison, we've got Julimar for Chalice on the left, and most of the mineralisation is found in the little oval anomaly in the centre there. And then Newly Iron was recently drilled by Mandrake, also out in that area. And these are all little mafic, ultramafic intrusions with the potential to host significant PGM deposits. So that's really what our focus was. Next. And so we identified 17 targets from our own target generation technology. And we announced only a couple of weeks ago the results of the first sort of past soil sampling over this area. Now, remember, this area has never been drilled. There's some regional soils done before, but no detailed work ever. It's completely unexplored. And we were able to identify out of our initial, 15 targets, we got 6 priority targets shown there in red outlines, and then another 4 of medium priority. So it was an incredible outcome for us, very exciting. Examples on the on the right-hand side there, significant nickel, copper, and then palladium, platinum, and gold together. So it's the fact that it's got those precious metals indicates to us that is not just raised backgrounds from, say, mafic or ultramafic rocks that aren't carrying any mineralization. These have all got significant palladium and platinum and gold results associated with them. So first time ever done, and all we've done is roadside traverses. We are in negotiations with land access with the farmers to get in there. Harvest will be finished in a month or so. And so by the end of this quarter, we should be back on the ground there and be able to get the next round of work done. Next. And but we've got a nice surprise out of that. As we were doing the soil sampling, we've actually come back with some very significant lithium, cesium, tantalum anomalies. And this isn't surprising. We've got this project covers 2,000 square kilometres. It's in an area that's well known for its lithium. We've got another 6 priority targets, and we'll probably have some geophysics going over a couple of those in the next couple of weeks. And that was really sort of, put a bit of a light underneath our share price. And I'm pretty confident we're going to get some excellent results and some drill targets for next year out of our next round of work at this project. Last couple of slides. What we're aiming to do before the end of the year is to drill our Dunia gold project. Now, this lies about 25 kilometres east of the recent Burns discovery by Lefroy. Very unusual discovery. It's copper gold, and it's got magnetite associated with it. And this is very unusual for this part of the world. The gold fields there, one of the world's great gold producing terrains, they generally don't have copper, and they generally don't have magnetite associated with them. So it's a new style. And next, and our Dunia target, very similar in terms of the chemistry that we've discovered there. And it has this sort of little magnetic anomalies. You can see the scale there, 2.5 kilometres. And there's a very significant gold and bismuth anomaly over the top. Never been drilled at depth, and we'll have a major program, 3,000 metres to start there as soon as we've got our rig lined up. But we hope to be up and running by November this year. And that's really the impact story. So last slide. So look, we'll be drilling in this quarter, moving through the drilling in Broken Hill. We've got our follow-up work at Arkin to come. And we've got a significant rationalisation program in process at the moment for our eastern states, the remainder of our eastern states projects. And so, yeah, I think we've got a really good chance of delivering the goods over the next 6 to 12 months. So keep your eye on us, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for your time. Just on that slide there, that Claremont 1 million shares in AHG, what is that potentially an asset you will look to sell down?
Well, look, obviously we've done quite well out of it. The million shares was done at 10 cents in the pre-IPO, but we're escrowed until May next year. So obviously they've gone for a run.
where are they trading? Sorry.
Well, they were up about 35, 40 cents. I think
okay.
they're part of the some of the meme stocks that we're going because it's tightly held. But I know the MD personally. He's a really great guy, and they're doing a very good job there. And then there's a float coming, Orange Minerals, and we've sold a couple of small tenements into that float, and they should be listed in November. And most of that's in cash, as you can see. So it's a good start to the process.
And I suppose the question is how do you focus on your best priority? There's talk is it WA nickel, or is it your Broken Hill project there as well?
Yeah, look, we're in a position that we've been able to pivot because we can't actually access Broken. I mean, even Broken Hill was in lockdown.
Yeah.
So we just couldn't get the guys out there, and it's all still up in the air. So it's just like, no, we'll just put it on hold. We know where we need to do the work at Broken Hill. The drill program's sitting there. So in the meantime, we need to get Dunia drilled. It's just a very simple one-off walk-up target. Is it there or is it not? And so in the pipeline of targets, then Arkin is the real key. We are really astounded by the results we've got from that work, and I'm pretty confident we're going to do very well there over the next 12 months.
You're obviously very nimble, given you've picked up that tenement out near Chalice and Anglo, was it? How does that happen, that process, and how did you move so quickly?
Yeah, well, we were probably the first of the latecomers, for want of a better term. And I think most people have been focused north and south of Julimar, because that particular part of the geology is where most people think about where the nickel copper occurs. But many years ago, I'd actually identified a structure in the magnetics which was at a high angle to that, which is probably of similar nature. And then lo and behold, somebody came to us and said, "Oh, look, there's a few sniffs here. Do you want to, peg it, and we'll give you a few shekels," and that's what we did. But obviously, Anglo had been thinking about acting, and then when we jumped that piece of ground, it was like, oh, we better act now, otherwise we're going to miss out completely. So and Anglo's discovery manager, who's managing the project, was his first job was at Impact Minerals 16 years ago. So
there you go. And how do you, and finally, how do you prioritize your allocation of capital, given you've got a great expanse of potential assets here?
Yeah, but there's a lot of management of that portfolio in terms of minimum expenditures, obviously, whilst really sort of focusing on the highest priority ones. So whilst we've got a large number of projects, we're very focused on gold, silver, nickel, copper, PGEs. It's just that they occur in different geological environments. And so we just rank them like we would as if we were just a gold-only company, and we pick them off as we go. So the idea is to get as much money into the ground in drilling, and so that's why Dooney then has been able to come to the fore, and it's been sitting there for about 12 months. It's now ready to go, and we'll hit that. And by the time that's finished, we should have other drill targets at Arkin, and then obviously as soon as we can get back to Broken Hill in the new year, we'll be drilling there as well. So I think next year we're going to see a lot of meters drilled for Impact.